And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We just truly appreciate you listening out there. We are the number one show on Monday nights on the Podcast Radio Network. The Podcast
Not with
Radio
those
Network,
intros, we won't be anymore.
well, no, we love those intros. The Podcast Radio Network we are on, and we are truly thankful to be on the air with them every Monday night, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Check us out there. Also, we're very blessed to be on all the great networks that we are on, including the Tangent Bound Network, the ESO Network, the Gonna Geek Network. Check out all the great shows that they have there as well. And if you want to download us, we got plenty of downloading, channels out there, including iTunes, Stitcher, podcast.com, Google Play, and also Mixcloud. So if you do, we throw some bonus content for you as well. So
yeah, it's always nice, right? When people subscribe on iTunes, they get a little bit more than what they hear on these awesome networks that we're thrilled to be a part of. But you get a little bit extra icing for your cake there, a little extra sprinkle on your pop culture donut.
There you go. And indeed, who is here with me today? Saying that right now, it is the man, the myth, the legend right now, the man behind Rob McCallum Films and Pyre Productions. It is the great Rob McCallum.
I was going to say the man behind Rob McCallum. I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm like, God, I knew somebody else was more important.
No, I added the films in there.
I hear you. I am here. Welcome, everybody that's listening. Gerald, thanks for having me yet again. I'm glad I can stop by at least once every couple of weeks, it seems.
That sounds good. Yes, always great to have you on, indeed. And, first off, I want to have a big announcement. If you didn't catch on the most recent episode, which was our initial episode on the network every, Friday night on the Podcast Radio Network, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, it is the PCC Multiverse. It's a great new show that we came up with. Thank you again to John with the Podcast Radio Network for allowing us the opportunity to be on the air. Plus, the PCC Multiverse will be available for download from a lot of the other outlets that we are already on, and we'll be finalizing that over the next week or so. But Rob,
what is the Multiverse? And I mean, let's be clear. If you're already a subscriber on iTunes or Stitcher, you're getting the Multiverse delivered already, so you don't have to do anything. But what is the PCC Multiverse?
So, Rob, what is the PCC Multiverse?
You see what you did there. Well, Gerald, what is the PCC Multiverse? That is such a good question. Well, this is something we talked about, I think, just before Christmas or between Christmas and Thanksgiving, somewhere in that holiday gap, where we are not only on these awesome networks that have a lot of like-minded shows, but we also really promote a lot of shows within the PCC in 1 to 2 minute little bursts like Gamercast, The Trenches, which I'm a part of, and some of the other great shows that are part of the network already. And I thought, man, it would be cool if we had another slot on some of these networks where we could show more of these shows, more than just a minute. So we're hoping to showcase, 5, 10, or 15-minute segments of some of these ancillary shows that really support the PCC, and kind of just bring some audience to what they're doing in little uncut segment chunks. I think that's the best way to describe it. Some sort of eclectic blend of potpourri geekness for everyone.
There you go. Indeed, a ton of great shows are coming out to you, and this is something we've done on the Pop Culture Cosmos show from time to time. We've sampled bits of shows from our family of from our Pop Culture Cosmos network and whatnot. So this is something that we're going to be doing. The PCC Multiverse gives you that sampling pretty much right there. It's going to give you a great lineup of shows, and some of the shows that have already lined up with us. Let me just go ahead and run down that list right for you now. It all starts off with some of Rob's shows, including The Trenches, Gamercast with Jay, Rob, and Glenn. Also as well, A Galaxy Far, Far Away from Jay, as far as, doing his deal with all the Star Wars universe there. Wine, Women, and Words, Diana and Michelle just doing a great job with their great podcast on the literary world. We're the Game Source podcast that will be also available. That will be from time to time on the show as well. The Double J Filmcast, Chad and Travis's musical show about music, Travis versus the world, and I know you've got something else that's you're lining up as well, and plus other shows on the queue. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm hoping to start a new show with my good friend J-Rock, who I'm doing a little bit more production work with these days. It probably won't start till the spring, but it'll be a fun intersection between technology, film, and TV. We're both filmmakers. We both approach things differently. We all love this. Him and I love a lot of the same things, but we do not see eye to eye on what these things are or what makes something good. Yet we find a common middle ground. So right now we're tentatively calling that show It's an Episode of Something podcast. So you'll hear us say, welcome to It's an Episode of Something, and we'll talk about tech, TV, and movies and how they interact, or at least we hope that's what the focus will be. We'll probably just banter back and forth about whatever. But yeah, we hope to kind of launch that this spring and probably go on a weekly basis at least to start.
Oh, that's awesome to hear indeed. And that will definitely be part of the PCC Multiverse as well. So everybody look out for it. It is going to be on the Podcast Radio Network. Actually, it already is when this airs, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's a great collection of the latest thoughts from our Pop Culture Cosmos family. Check it out indeed. We are truly blessed again to be on the Podcast Radio Network, so take a look for that. And also, a lot of the download areas that you already get Pop Culture Cosmos, if you download it, it will be showing up there as well. So we truly appreciate it, and we'll be finalizing all the networks on next week's show.
So Monday and Friday, that's pretty cool, huh?
Yep. Monday and Friday indeed. So bookend. Pop Culture Cosmos is now bookending your week. And so that's just a great way to have it indeed. I know when I first sat down with you, Rob, and we talked about exactly what we wanted to do with the show, in the beginning, and some of the offers that we were pondering as far as going on public radio and whatnot.
I'm glad we're not broadcasting live from the Arby's drive-thru.
Yes, something like that.
Curly fries with that, sir? I'm good.
Yes.
I'm podcasting here.
No worries indeed. But yeah, one of the things we were talking about was doing a week, like a Thursday, Friday drive home show. So this definitely.
Did I get a beef and cheddar?
Yeah. Beef and cheddar indeed. Beef and cheddar indeed. But yes, this is definitely something that is far more reaching.
Is there any horsey sauce over there?
Yes. Go for the horsey sauce. The horsey sauce is just awesome. But
okay.
Yes.
Sorry. I mean, what folks don't understand is we were at a proposition. We were, basically one phone call away from broadcasting on an AM station and an Arby's drive-thru. And I think, it kind of hurt to turn that down at the time because we were going to be on, legitimate radio. But now we're bookending with 2 shows a week. And it's only been, I think 4 or 5 months since we've turned it around, and our listenership has gone through the roof thanks to everybody's feedback and all these other shows that come around. So I think we made the right move.
Exactly. I think we did so as well. The show's doing so well here, the main show on PCC. And now we've got 2 main shows to bookend it with the PCC Multiverse on Friday. So check that out indeed. So we are, talking a little bit about a movie that's going to be in production here soon. Actually, later this year in August. But I don't know. What are your thoughts as far as the Avatar universe? Because Avatar, James Cameron announced that principal photography will be starting after a much long delay, and
I thought it was
all
motion
that stuff.
capture that was starting.
Motion capture. Okay, motion capture starting on it. Well, okay, photography is going to be some type of photography then is going to be done in August. It's motion capture. Indeed.
I can already tell that you're dismissing anything has to do with this film and this franchise. Photography, motion capture. I don't care.
So I'm already leading myself into that, but I've said before that Avatar, even though it made well over $2.5 billion at the box office, it did not ever gain a foothold in pop culture. I remember the days as far as very short-lived that people dressed as a Na'vi and whatnot, and now people don't even remember it outside of the showings on FX as far as it's concerned. So what are your thoughts as far as Avatar? I know there's plans as far as 5 films in the making. Is that correct?
5 in total. And there's a
Yes.
theme park expansion at Disney World as well for an Avatar land as part of Animal Kingdom.
Now that I when I was there earlier, halfway through last year, I know that was already, getting underway as far as it's concerned. So what are your thoughts as far as the Avatar universe? Do you think it's something that can actually really gain a foothold again with audiences? Or do you think it's just something that's going to be, as popular in the theaters and then it just, goes away from there? And do you think it has the legs to do 5?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, it's been such a long time since that first film came out, I think in 2008, fall of 2008, Christmas 2008. I didn't see it until January of 2009. This is what everybody's got to remember. Sure, it hasn't made the impact. It's not quotable. It wasn't an original, fresh story, but it executed incredibly well. It took advantage of IMAX and 3D technology. CG imagery was pretty fantastic in that. You cannot ever, 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 ever count out James Cameron. Nobody believed in Titanic. That movie did okay. Nobody was 100% sure if he could pull off an original fantasy film. Avatar did okay. Now, Cameron likes to take long breaks between projects, and then he likes to get fully immersed in them. So the fact that they're basically making 4 new films, I think, will really help cement it in the public consciousness to become part of that pop culture lexicon, so people can quote it, so people can be immersed. It's not just going to be the films. Like I said, with the theme park kind of expansion, there's going to be toys. There's going to be video games. It's going to be part of it. And while it feels really strange and foreign to us because that blip in the radar kind of came and went, because it has been, 8 years? 7-8 years? I think that's all going to be erased really soon. It feels like it's missed a generation for some people, or it was like, oh, I remember when that film when I grew up. But it's going to come back really quickly into everybody's kind of purview, and it'll give us a reason to go back and watch the other one. And I'm sure there'll be something in these sequels that make us appreciate that first one even more, in the same way that Rogue One kind of pays off little things in A New Hope to make us appreciate that a little bit more. Just don't count it out. I understand why people aren't excited. That is going to change, I think, once marketing starts to kick in, once you start to see some trailers, once this beast finally hits the world. You don't plan 4 films unless you really have something cooking.
Why don't you think it has gained that continuous popularity that, say, a Star Wars has, for example?
Well, it's been too long since the first one, right? And there hasn't been anything that it's fed off of. Even when Phantom Menace came back, or when it came to the theaters in '99, sure, there was an 18-year gap or a 17-year gap, but those first 3 films were so memorable. And let's not forget, you had the release of Star Wars on home video to help keep that alive. You had Droids cartoon to help keep it alive. So there was lots of different stuff, and then you had special edition to keep it alive. So and the Power of the Force collection as toys. So with Star Wars, you've never had anything for more than a couple of years without something new, including books and video games, from Jedi all the way to Phantom Menace. And since Phantom Menace, there's always been something in our consciousness, whether it's those theatrical films, the Clone Wars cartoons, new video games, and all the way to Force Awakens. There's always been something new with Star Wars. There hasn't been anything new with this. That's going to change, and that'll help keep it kind of on the tip of our tongues, or on the tip of our tails.
Oh my gosh, pun right there for you. So that's our thoughts on the Avatar universe. If you have thoughts on the Avatar universe you'd like shared on the show, or if you just want to weigh in with anything that we do here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, feel free to get a hold of us. Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, Pop Culture Cosmo on Twitter, and then also popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Rob, before we head on out, this is going to be a great episode here today on the Pop Culture Cosmos coming up for everyone out there. But before we head on out, what's going on with Rob McCallum Films? I kind of saw, caught wind of a certain photo from a certain upcoming He-Man documentary type deal that's coming up.
I may have posted a tease for everybody because as anybody on Netflix that might know that's into 80s cartoons like myself, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, at least season 1, is now streaming on Netflix. It seems globally, so that's cool for everybody to enjoy the classic animated show by Filmation. And of course, we're creating Power of Grayskull, the definitive history of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, a documentary that looks at every era of He-Man to tell that story of how it came to be. And today I did a little screen cap of my desktop where there was 2 cuts of the film, and I just kind of showed those icons that I could click and watch it at any point because people are excited with the cartoon. When is the documentary coming out? And I said, well, it is, being worked on, of course, but we are pitching to distributors. And as people read this post and listen to me talk right now, I am watching it. So I get to see it. You don't. Ha, 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 ha. But it's coming soon, folks. It is coming soon.
That's great. So what else is coming on the fire for Rob McCallum Films as well?
Well, hopefully we'll have a trailer for Box Art, the new docuseries that we're producing that looks at video game cover illustrators. That's going to be great to finally kind of showcase some of the stuff that we've shot all last year and culminated into 6 episodes that'll make up season 1 and hopefully help propel us to get season 2 underway. That's just a matter of me actually getting some time to look at footage. I've been actually really working on a new Kickstarter campaign that actually could launch the week that we're recording this right now, and that's for Mutant Football League, which is a revival and spiritual successor to the cult classic Mutant League Football. You see, it's a slightly different name, but it's the same creator, same team. I'm helping them with their Kickstarter campaign. It's, gridiron carnage and mayhem and gruesome football fun with robots and skeletons and orcs and stuff where you can basically decimate your opponents and, eliminate them from the game by eliminating them from existence. So it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek monster fun, and that should launch on Kickstarter this last week of January if everything goes well. And the cool thing is, you will see on our campaign you get a playable demo if you become a backer for, I believe it's just $1. You get to check out a mini version of that game, which is pretty cool. So that's spoils right there. You heard it first here on the PCC.
There you
Mutant
go.
Football League.
So, and then what else have we got? How's Missing Mom doing? Is that still, obviously it garnered so many awards during the where the movie traveled so to so many different locales around the world, garnering award after award at film festivals and whatnot. Is there anything going on with Missing Mom right now?
Yeah, it was scheduled to play in Kiev during Christmas week, but there was problems with the venue, so they moved the festival to early spring. So we're still waiting to see how it does there in terms of if it wins awards or what the general audience reaction is. But that's really cool that it's actually playing in Kiev. And there are a few other film festivals we're waiting to hear back on. It is still being pitched and pushed for distribution on some different scales, but we hope to kind of make it available probably this spring in some format or another, whether it's just through Vimeo or on discs that we self-publish, or we're trying to get a deal to kind of get iTunes and possibly Netflix interested as well. It just takes time, and we don't want to undercut any of our festivals that are showing it exclusively and help them draw an audience so people can see it there first.
Oh, that's awesome indeed. Definitely. Yeah, because, and if anybody is unsure about it as far as it's concerned, you want to check out my review on Missing Mom. It is located at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. Definitely, I detail exactly, what the movie's about as far as the adventure that Rob and his brother takes in the quest to find or to attempt to find his mom, because, there's still an answer that's out there. Did he find his mom or not? So that's you have to watch the movie to find out, because, it takes a lot of twists and turns, some good, some bad. But I tell you what, it is an excellent, excellent movie indeed. And if you want to read my full review on it, it is popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. So, like I said, we've got a great show lined up for everyone out there today. We truly appreciate you being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos, and also checking out Friday nights on the Podcast Radio Network, 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific, the PCC Multiverse, which is our great, great collection of shows that are going to be sampled there as far as that's concerned, from just a ton of great programming we've got for you. And before we head on the break, I just want to thank Hyperschmidt for allowing us to play their latest song that they have available. It's just truly awesome to check out their work. I Can Tell, and that's going to be playing up right here in a sec. And if you want to check out all their work, it's available on Hyperschmidt at YouTube, or Hyperschmidt, HYPERSCHMITT, Hyperschmidt.com. All right. Thanks again, Rob, for being on this segment. We truly appreciate it. And tell you what, any last thoughts before we head out?
No, just looking forward to this Mutant Football League campaign and working on the box art trailer to share it with people, and hopefully some news on that He-Man documentary for all those Eternian fanboys and fangirls out there.
Check it out on robmccallumfilms.com or Rob McCallum Films on Facebook, indeed. Thanks again for being a part of the Pop Culture Cosmos show as always, and definitely I will be hopefully get you back on the show real soon.
Thanks, man.
You got it. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos.
I'm not coming back if you keep saying that.